All right, joining the show right now, joining the One Mic with Bigg Mike Show right now, the stars of VH1's new hit show, The Breaks, my man Antoine Harris, Sinqua Walls. You guys know him from places like Ballers, places like Power. They're not doing real big things with VH1. Follow him on Twitter. I am Antoine Harris on Twitter and Instagram for Antoine, and at Sinqua Walls and The Real Sinqua Walls on Twitter and Instagram, respectively. All right, now let's start here. This is a little bit different for me because I'm used to doing maybe two interviewers, one interviewee, but now I'm doing dual interviewees and only one interviewer. So what I'll do, I kind of just throw it back and forth between you guys.
Okay.
In my reading, I found out both of you guys, both former athletes. My man Antoine played a couple years at Louisville, did a couple years in the league, one down here where I'm at in the ATL. Sinqua did his basketball thing, Cal Poly, San Francisco. Well, the first question is, when did you guys catch that acting bug?
I mean, I caught it right after Antoine left Louisville. I need to do this. No, man, I fell in love with acting when I was 11, and just let the passion grow from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, it was probably around, honestly, I don't want to just copy this guy, but it was probably around that same age, right when I realized that there were so many professions that I actually wanted to do, and then acting was the one that I could do them all in.
Word. So Sinqua, like I mentioned, you were down here in the A, and you were down here at a time where people really remember during that Bobby Petrino era when all that craziness was going on, and entering into the Mike Smith era. Mike Smith was my defensive coordinator in college, by the way. But the question I have for you is, like, what was all that like from the inside? Because we all have our opinions on what was going on from the outside looking in. Everybody down here hates Bobby Petrino. They hope he dies screaming, all that kind of stuff. But from a player's perspective, on the inside looking out, what was that time like and all that stuff going on?
Is that for Antoine or that for me?
No, it's for Antoine, the former Falcon.
Oh, hey, Big Mike, you know, the funny thing is, man, Wikipedia hates my life. You know, there's another dude named Antoine Harris, and he played ball as well. He played for the Falcons. You know what I'm saying? I was at Virginia Tech. I never made it to the league.
Word.
I was a Hokie. Yeah, so that Wikipedia got me out here like I had 50 different lives. And I was like, man, that wasn't me.
So we got to work on that.
Another dude, man.
Yeah,
that's another dude.
We got to work on that.
Atlanta thing is, the Atlanta thing is interesting, though, because I got a lot of roots in Atlanta. I got a lot of friends out there and a lot of family in Atlanta. So it's love for that city.
No doubt.
It's a lot of love for that city.
Talking right now with Antoine Harris and Sinqua Walls from the hit VH1 show, The Breaks. Catch it every Monday evening at 10 p.m. What we on now? We on episode 4 now, right? Last night was episode 3. Real quick,
Last night was episode 4.
Was episode 4. Let me get off script real quick. What the hell did throw in the river? Was that money? Was that bag of money?
Yeah, it was, man. It was a bag of money, but the it represented so much more than just money. It kind of represented my man Bug's life. You know what I'm saying? At that point, it was a very self-reflective moment, and he kind of felt like, I know where this money came from, and I know where I wanted to be. I know how far I wanted to be from it. You know what I'm saying? So he just kind of wanted to get rid of the whole thought, the whole moment tied to that bag of money.
Because it
was money. It was actually $20K.
Yeah, I had to rewind it. I was like, what the hell did he just do? Rewind? I rewinded like 3 times. I know that wasn't the money.
Yeah, that was the money.
Sinqua.
Thank you for watching too.
Oh, no doubt. I'm like, look, dude, I'm a child of the 90s, man. So anything that I can be nostalgic about, I'm all about it. When I hear dudes start talking about passing tapes around, I'm like, dude, if you like 20 and under, you have no idea what a tape is. You have no idea what the struggle of the tape was. You know what I mean? Putting the masking tape over the top of it so you can record over something that you had already done on a tape that wasn't supposed to be recordable, like all that kind of craziness. Yeah, I'm all about that life. For those of you who are listening, of course, you don't get the visual, but if you're listening, both of these brothers share one thing in common. 50 Cent murked both of them in Power at one point. So that happened. If Sean and Antoine, what was your character's name in Power?
Oh man, Rock.
Rock hanging around with Drake, got his ass murked by 50. So that happened. Sinqua, let me ask you this, man. Let me pose this to you first, Sinqua. And coming up, as a black actor, everything went down last year with the Oscars so white stuff. But coming up as a black actor, give me some of the struggles that you guys had to go through, because now everybody sees you guys everywhere and sees you on all these shows, Power and Ballers and all this kind of stuff. But I'm gonna assume that the road wasn't that easy for you guys. So starting with Sinqua, give me an instance where it was almost like, damn, dude, why is it so damn hard?
I mean, I think, entering into this business in general, you walk into it knowing that you're going to face a lot of adversity. So it really wasn't as much racial as it was just circumstantial. When you want to pursue an acting career and you want to pursue a career in entertainment, you have to win over casting directors. You have to win over directors. You have to win over writers. You have to do so much when you walk into each situation that it becomes less in the moment about, the color of your skin. It's more about, like, how can I tackle this opportunity? And for me specifically, it was about always walking in and just trying to change course. So I never walked into a situation going like, the odds are stacked against me. I always walked in going like, whatever the odds are, I'm going to take them down.
Real talk.
And I think now we brought to light so much, and like you hear it more from people that really came before me, and they're like educating us on how things were when they were coming up. And they really paved the way.
Right.
They set the precedent for how we can walk into these situations and not face so much. So I can't say that it was difficult, but it definitely wasn't easy. And it's like I said, it's case by case, man. I think in any situation, I always walk in knowing who was who. When I look them in the eye, I know how they were reacting to me, and I take it from there. Mm-hmm.
But what about you?
And to piggyback, what SQ said, I think one thing that we shared is, an athletic mindset. So we weren't strangers to the work. You know what I'm saying? So like when you're not a stranger to the work, and anything that could come from it, it's all downhill from there. You know what I'm saying? As far as like certain roles and certain opportunities, maybe we didn't have enough opportunities to tell as many stories as we could. You know what I'm saying? I think nowadays people are starting to realize that everybody shares the same human experience, regardless of the tint of your skin. And I feel like the industry is starting to see, like, hey, man, this African-American brother can be a doctor just like this other guy can be a doctor. So I feel like now the doors are opening more for us to do that. But it was definitely a battle. It was definitely a burden. But I think that's the life of an artist, man. If you love what you do and you love what you're doing, it's going to be a struggle at first. It's going to be a struggle. You know what I'm saying? Just be ready for those. Just be ready for it.
Along that same tone, a couple of days ago, I heard Samuel L. Jackson do an interview. He was doing a radio interview somewhere. He was talking about the movie Get Out. The Jordan Peele movie, and he made some comments as it pertained to the lead actor, saying that he was wondering, he just kind of wondered out loud how the role would have been attacked had it been casted, had an African American been casted as opposed to a cat from England. And I see that happening a lot. Like a lot of these cats, the first time I heard Idris Elba talk, I was like, what the hell he doing? He putting on? It's like, that ain't how he talk. That's, that ain't, but that's him. You know what I mean? And you don't really know it. The cat from 12 Years a Slave, the cat that played Martin Luther King, like all these cats have these English accents. Is that something that as two bruhs from America, you look at and be like, damn, because I'm sure like it ain't like a gang of bruhs over in England doing English accents for their movies. Am I right? So when you guys see that, what is the feeling like? I'm gonna go to Antoine first on this one, and then Sinqua, you can follow him up.
Honestly, man, like I gotta judge the work. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, it's the African American. You're from Pangea. You know what I'm saying? He's a brother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Regardless of where he's from, if he does the work, man, and puts the work in and kills the character, I can't hate. You know what I'm saying? I really can't hate. I would think that, the opportunity should go both ways, though. Like you just said, like I don't feel like there's very many Americans over there doing any of their roles.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it could go both ways. But honestly, when we walk in the room for an audition, anybody could get it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't care where you from. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, if you're the man for the job, you're the man for the job. Somebody like Samuel L. Jackson has way more years in this industry than I do, and he can speak like that. You know what I'm saying? He's over 200 movies, and he can speak differently than I can. But for me, I feel like it is what it is. Yeah, I think it really goes back to the question you asked earlier about like what kind of adversity did we face. Mm-hmm. And like I said, it's that generation of where Samuel came from, where he talked so much that he's asking questions that I think are only opening doors for us. Mm-hmm. It's opening doors for me and Antoine. It's also opening doors for the guy that was in Get Out. And when you see it, just like you said, with him and with Idris, the fact that we didn't know they were American, it came down to the work at the end of the day.
Right,
and the only thing that I really look at it is not not in a frustrating way. I just want to see good actors play the part. Like if there was someone that was not believable in that role as much as I felt like he was in Get Out, then I would be upset. I said me and Antoine could have played that part, but I felt like he did his job to where we believed the story he was telling. So it didn't really matter at the end of the day to me if he had an accent or not, because he was authentically the best person to play that role.
The other two voices that you're hearing right now on the One Mic with Bigg Mike Show are Antoine Harris and Sinqua Wallace, the stars of VH1's new hit show, The Breaks. If you haven't checked out The Breaks yet, man, you got to check it out every Monday, 10 p.m. on VH1, or check your local listings. It's described as a gritty, authentic take on the origins of hip hop through the journey of three friends exploring the industry in the 1990s New York City. A bunch of people in this, man. Like, I'm feeling old because I'm looking at my man Method Man playing like a concerned dad. Like Mr. How High is a dad now. Tiana Taylor's in this joint. Of course, my man Wood Harris, aka Avon Barksdale, Mac Wiles is in it. It's like crazy people came out. Charlemagne, the God is in it. Plenty of people came out. It's a well casted situation, man. I definitely suggest you guys check it out. Let's go back to your early years, like growing up. Give me, because I'm looking at these characters in these movies, in the show so far, and there are some fork in the road moments for these guys, man. Starting with Sinqua, give me at a younger age some fork in the road moments or a fork in the road moment that maybe you could have gone left, but fortunately you went right, and it turned out well for you in the end.
I mean, I think being a product of Los Angeles from the time I was, young growing up in LA City, there's a fork in the road moment every day, and I think that's something that both Antoine and I can speak to just from our upbringing and environment. You decide to make choices on the daily when what corners you go down, what direction, which stores you shop at. You're always raised understanding that each and every moment is a fork in the road. You have to make those decisions daily.
But I totally agree with SQ, man. And I think another saving grace for me is definitely the athletics world. You know what I'm saying? At a young age, like a lot of my friends kind of, at that fork in the road, they went left, and I had practice. You know what I'm saying? Like I had responsibilities. I had things that I had to do and be at. You know what I'm saying? So while I was still connected to them, I didn't really get to go down that road that they went down. Thank God. You know what I'm saying? The athletics pretty much kept me really busy.
Antoine, introduce me to and then Sinqua, then you introduce me to Lil Ray. If I was just a person off the street and I met and I wanted to know who these guys were, introduce me to them.
Okay. Is a pragmatic. He has an ease with silence. He has an ease with violence. He's introspective. He's from where he's from, but his mind isn't stuck in the project that he was born in. Single parent household. He had two options coming up, like the fork in the road you speak of. It was the hustlers and it was the nerds. Mm-hmm. So he basically went on the route to be a hustler. You say he's a street guy pretty much, and he also rapped to kind of ease his mind. His rap was his peace of mind. That's why he sounded solid. So is a pretty much I approach him as a two-tier person. When he's rapping, he's a full-on rapper, but when he's in the streets, he's full-on in the streets. Mm-hmm.
I mean, to piggyback off of that, I think Lil Ray shares a lot of the similar qualities to Ahmed, that he understands both worlds very easily, and he used the knowledge that he had of how to navigate both systems to kind of allow himself to go forward. He's a jack of all trades. He can communicate with anybody, and he always is looking for an opportunity to see how he can make the situation work to his benefit, whether that be, with sports, whether that be with his communication. He's a very calculated individual.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Make sure you guys are following these guys on social media. Twitter and Instagram for Antoine is I'm Antoine Harris. And for Sinqua, his Twitter is Sinqua Walls. And the real Sinqua Walls is his Instagram. What kind of preparation did you guys have to do for these roles? We'll start with Sinqua on this one. Did you draw from someone in your past? Was it just like studying other people? Like, did you know these guys coming up? Because like I look at especially. I'm like, yep, I know that dude. His name was Corey. Corey was a dude I went to high school with that really never said a lot. But anyone that knew Corey knew he had like guns all over his mom's crib, and he got bodies on them. You know what I mean? So I saw and I was like, damn, that's Corey Blank. You know what I mean? So in preparing for these characters, man, how did you guys, come about the way you were gonna approach the roles?
I mean, I think specifically for Lil Ray, I approached the character just from what his
what his position and vocation was in the industry that the breaks revolves around, which is music. So I had an opportunity to talk to a lot of music managers, road managers that also repped a lot of really good talent, and they told me about the experiences that they went through. So that educated me on how to really communicate, how to not take no for an answer, and how to always be someone that, they're always the eyes and ears of every situation. So from that communication, I learned a lot about how to approach my character, Lil Ray. And as far as working with artists like I knew a lot of growing up. So the biggest thing that I always knew from dealing with characters like is that you have to be real from day one.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at Lil Ray, he's always very direct, and he's always very real, and he's always very honest, for good or bad, because that's the only way you're going to be able to really live and interact with people like that.
As for myself, the duality thing, I approached it as two people, kind of. Like for Street Side, I kind of studied a lot of, sounds morbid, but I studied a lot of serial killers. I watched a lot of their interviews. I read a lot of their articles, because I just had to understand the mindset of, regardless of what you think about what I do, how graphic it is, how wrong you may think it is, right. I had to enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? It had to be, this is me. This is who I am. And it had to be okay by me for me to really be able to play him in the way that I thought he should be played. As far as the rap side of him, I went back to the golden age, man. Just like you said, with the tape deck. And I studied the people who I listened to anyway. I went and studied Biggie. I went and studied Jay. I went and studied Nas. I went and studied Pac. I went and studied Slick Rick, Big Daddy Kane. And I kind of just put them in boxes like, flow and delivery, style. You know what I'm saying? Like, just kind of try to compete with them, to be honest. Like, I figured if it was like I'm really in 1990 and I'm trying to be a rapper, I would really have to be able to approach myself as, can I compete with these dudes? And I kind of studied them like that, kind of broke them down piece by piece. And the thing that I like about how the writers wrote it is that, though Lil Ray is a new character to the series, the way they wrote it, it's like his whole story was running synonymous with while the film was going on. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we were introduced to Lil Ray. It's almost like, now you're seeing him in his life. You know what I'm saying? In his daily life. So I like the way the writers kind of brought everybody together. Like, there's so many stories. And so to be on the show, there's so many stories. You got to hold your part down. You got to hold down your square when you're working with such great actors. So I feel like it worked out well. Now, you mentioned, studying Big Daddy Kane and then Slick Rick and those people. Did you spit before the show? Do the people on the show actually have skill? I know Mac Wiles does his thing, and Tiana Taylor's an artist as well as course Method Man. But the true thespians amongst you, do you guys? Well, I know Sinqua. I read Sinqua as a poet, which we'll get to that here in just a second, which is ridiculous. But do you guys actually have flow for real? For real? Yeah. Oh man. I used to rap like at school, rap battles at the lunch table and all that, little kid stuff, but like never really took it seriously. I never really had the keys to that game. I was lucky that Dan Charnas was so thorough and the people that he put around his character. You know what I'm saying? Actually, my audition tape was Can I Live? We had to do Can I Live. So that was the first rap that the fact that they picked that one, which is a very technically challenging rap to do, I could tell off rip that they knew hip hop. And then we got Fonte Coleman, who's from Little Brother, and he's probably your rapper's favorite rapper. And he's also a beast as well. So they just made it very easy for me to kind of get into that mode, get into that zone. I felt like I've been a rapper working with these guys. I felt like he was a rapper, watching him rap. Oh, man. My God.
All right, so
I paid him for that.
No doubt. I mentioned Sinqua reading that you got published poetry and all these kind of things, and like you got your sex symbol thing going real strong, my guy. Me and my man, like straight up, me and my man on my previous show, I had a co-host on my previous show, and we did this real immature, silly thing. It was called Breasticle Watch 2015 or 14 or whatever year it was, and it was leading up to your sex scene with Lala in Power. So, like, that movie had you crushing some TV crushing. I mean, some dimes, man. And now, the last episode that I saw of the breaks again. So the question, I was talking to my man about this interview the other day, and we got questions, bruh. Like, as a dude, when you doing these sex scenes, and it's like Lala, and it's like Tasha, and it's like girl from the breaks, like, how you keep yourself calm, my guy? Or is it just one of those things like nature's got to take its course?
he paid me into a corner, man.
This is real life, though, dude. You a man, I'm a man, and I'm looking at it like there's no way in the world I would be able to. But you're a professional, though. You mean?
I think it's just like anything else. Like at the end of the day, you approach those situations like you put your hard hat on, no pun intended, and you just go to work. You know, and you look at it like when you're interacting with them, these are your castmates, these are your co-stars, and my job in the team is to protect them at all costs. So the number one thing I'm always focused on is, are they comfortable? Do they feel safe? Do they feel secure? Much like in a personal relationship with a woman I'm dating. So I'll look at it like, if we are friends and we have this intimate situation, I want to make sure that number one, they're safe, and they know that they can trust me, and they don't ever have to feel like there's any level of, underhanded intention that's going on. So I always just really approach it that way. And then because of that, we're able to like live and let these characters tell their stories, and it just happens to be within those circumstances.
Good for you guys, man. Like there's certain people on Earth that are designed to do certain things. Like I'm definitely not designed to do that. I'm way too immature. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be 40 this year, but I'm still like mad immature. Like I'm still waiting. They say like Lala's gonna do a topless scene, so we gotta put that in the show, and it's gotta come up, and then the pictures get leaked. So I'm like retweeting it and like real immature stuff. So shout out to you guys, man. I'm definitely like, I don't know you guys. I'm just meeting you guys today, but I'm proud of you guys and what you're doing, man, and the nostalgia that you're bringing to the screen with the breaks. It's a wonderful thing, the work that you've done previously. The last thing I got for you, man, I definitely appreciate your time. He's Antoine Harris, and of course, Sinqua Walls from the hit show The Breaks. You guys know him from shows like Ballers and Power and things like that as well. Make sure you check it out every Monday at 10 p.m. They kind of did. Hey, they did you guys a favor too. They sandwich it in between those like love and hip hop divas of whatever. I don't look at those shows though, by the way. So I just set the reminder for The Breaks to come on, and I can't like I got a certain level of ratchetness that I can consume. So that's got to stay out. But the last thing I got for you guys before I let you go real quick, you guys into the March Madness thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're talking about it right now.
Word. My God. So let's start with Antoine. Give me your final four real quick, and I'm gonna get Sinqua's final four, and I'll let you guys go, man.
All right. My final four is going to be Duke, UNC.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna put Nova in there.
Okay.
I think that was a good one. She was talking about them earlier, and I like what these is it UCLA?
With the ball kid?
It might be UCLA. Yeah, it might be UCLA. I think they might sneak in there somehow. Yeah, I would actually. I mean, like he said, Duke. I go with Duke, Nova, UCLA. I gotta go with a sleeper. That's my three. I'm trying to think of who I really think is a sleeper out here that can just go shock the world.
Y'all got no love for Gonzaga? No love for Gonzaga?
I will say this, and I shout out to everybody in Spokane. Gonzaga's not making it past the Elite Eight.
Word. My man. So
who you got, Mike? What's your fault?
See, this is my thing though. I'm the dude that I don't even fake it, cause like when it comes to college basketball, I feel like the regular season is really the preseason, and then you have the warm up, which is the conference championships. Like the regular season really just started for me right now. So I had my college basketball expert on yesterday to give me all my crib notes and whatever. So I'm basically just copying him. I'm going UCLA. I'm going Duke. I'm going who was the other one? I think Nova and Kansas was the other one. Kansas, yeah.
Oh, this is a good pick.
Yeah,
a really good pick. Okay, I would actually, because I've seen them play a couple times this year. Their PG is lights out. So he's a good pick. I think Villanova, people sleep, they might mess around and win the whole chip.
Word. Look at we got heat coming at the back end of the interview, no doubt. Hey man. Hey man, like I said before, man, thank you guys for showing some love to a little guy like me, man. And I wish you guys continued success in everything you do, and I'll be an avid supporter of all your work. I love all your previous work, but definitely going forward. Oh, last thing, I lied before. It's not the last thing. What you guys got in the works though, man? Before I let you go, like stuff that you guys got coming up.
Man, a lot of hope, man. Season 3 of Ballers, and hopefully multiple seasons of The Break. And hopefully some film projects.
No doubt.
But a lot of hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put the same saying, requesting to the ether as well, saying hopefully some film projects, man. I have a film that I shot over the summer in conjunction with Spada and David Russell directing, and it's starting to a national, international campaign. It's out now, and you can see it everywhere. So that's what's going on in conjunction with the break. But obviously, more film projects and hopefully multiple seasons of the break to come.
No doubt. Antoine Harris, Sinqua Walls, Get Out Part 2. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hey, fellas, man, it's been real, man. Thank you guys, man. Have a good one.
Man. Be well, man.